Kyle Madson.
More fighting.
Trista does not give a damn about commercial breaks or nothing.
No, that's fine.
It's the second week in a row I've wrapped Trista up, and she's like, "Nah, I'm good. We're just gonna keep going." Like Trista says, I really enjoy talking to you guys. She means it. Like she legit means it. Welcome in the curator.
She's great.
Vibes.
She's a lot of fun.
She very much is. Did you? I can't tell if you're laughing at my remark about Karl Anthony Towns or if you're agreeing with my remark.
No.
Oh, really?
About it. Yeah.
Oh, so I called Karl.
Outrageous.
I said,
"That's
how so?"
Wait, what happened?
He
called Karl Anthony Towns Mike Trout.
That's outrageous.
In what way?
I understand what he's saying.
Totally
I understand what he's saying, but so what Kyle, you can explain this. Mike Trout is so much better.
He's the best player in baseball.
He's so much better at baseball.
And he's got the personality of a melted ice cube.
You don't know that.
Trista's point was Karl Anthony Towns isn't a star. Like, he's a really good basketball player, but he has no star qualities. It's cool. Mike Trout's the best baseball player in the game. Great. There ain't a star quality about him.
Except that he's awesome.
He is awesome. But, I mean, he never wins. His teams never win. And we never see it. He made the playoff once.
You can't do that in baseball, though. You can't singularly affect a game the way you can in basketball. Or
I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm just saying what it is. His teams never win. So we never see him in any kind of spotlight or big moment. Not like it's his fault. I'm just saying that's what it is.
Do you know who's a better comp for Mike Trout in that regard?
Who?
Russell Westbrook.
What?
Whatever, dude.
Really, really skilled. Never won anything. Teams don't do much in the playoffs.
How disrespectful is this? How disrespectful is Kyle Madson being right now?
He knows how to get under my skin. Like, we ain't bothering nobody, just having a little conversation, and then he has to get personal. I know that Russell Westbrook hasn't won anything. It is why I constantly root for James Harden to fail, because my heart can't take Kevin Durant having the titles that he have, because he's legitimately that dude, and then James Harden falling into some titles that Joel Embiid might win him.
They're not going to win it.
Oh, no, they're definitely not. But it's why I regularly root against James Harden.
They're not going to win it. I got a question, though, for both of you guys. I saw this earlier, and I think somebody was just kind of talking. It wasn't nobody legit. It was Twitter talk, whatever. But they said the only people in the league that have nothing left to prove, it was like LeBron, Kawhi, Giannis. It was somebody else. KD wasn't on that list. And one of the people were like, KD's not on this list? And I agree. But KD does. KD might. Do you guys think KD got to get one outside of Golden State?
No.
Okay.
He was the MVP of both series.
He was the best player on the Golden State Warriors.
He was, but it's different. It's different.
No, it's not.
It's different.
No, it's
I'm never going to penalize an individual because his teammates are awesome.
You went to Golden State.
And you were the best player.
On a team with like 2 Hall of Famers on it. Maybe 3.
Good luck leaving me out of the Hall of Fame if I had. Your boy Draymond's wild, dude. He says some of the stupidest things in existence.
It's unbelievable. It makes it really hard. Makes it really difficult.
Did you?
Can I talk about Sacramento real quick?
Please do.
I just wanted to congratulate Sacramento on not being the biggest disaster in the NBA anymore. So congratulations on that, because losing in the first play-in game and then before the second play-in game, having your best player contract COVID and not be able to play is a thing I would have ascribed to happen to the Kings. And instead it happened to the Warriors or to the Clippers. And I just wanted to congratulate Sacramento on that.
Warrior fans hate the Clippers and the Rockets, and they hate Westbrook and they hate James Harden. It's like I want to say it's weird because I know you guys had a little history, but man,
your hate for Westbrook is weird. The Warriors' hate for Westbrook is odd.
It's not a, see, because that's the thing. So there was that really good New York Times profile on him a while back. And it was just like, man, this guy's super likable. It's not a thing with him. It's that he was really, really good in the time that the Warriors were also good.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like a threat. And so that just became kind of a thing. Like, man, can't stand that guy.
It's kind of what happened
really
to the Clippers too, right? Like the Clippers they peaked at the same time the Warriors did.
Yeah, the Clippers beat him in 7 in 2014.
Yeah.
And that was the Chris Paul.
Ever.
Yeah, that was the Chris Paul, Blake Griffin team. And again, like Chris Paul was just like, it's just not that likable of a player. Like on the court, I'm sure as a dude, he's fine.
They hate Chris Paul.
Yeah, can't stand him. But again, it's because Chris Paul's really good and he was just always there.
Wow.
Did you hear Draymond asked Steph, would he trade the two, essentially the 2 KD titles to get the 2016 title?
Mm-hmm.
As a Warriors fan, would you trade the 2 titles to get the 2016 one?
I don't know. Like
Steph said no. Steph said it's weird and it's uncomfortable, but he said no. Like I want the other 2.
Right, like the way Steph like was laughing about it, he's like, yeah, it's just kind of a funny thing because I don't take myself too seriously. And I was like, well, brother, take myself very seriously. No, I just think like, so for me personally, like I was living here for the 2017 and 2018 titles and like got to celebrate those with family and friends, where the 2016 title, I was alone in my apartment in Arizona. And it would have been really cool. And it would have been, wow, 73-9, no argument, best team ever kind of thing. But do they win titles after that? I don't know. So I don't think I would, because having 3 is better than having 2. And frankly, like the discourse about it, like I don't care what other people have to say, like the banners went up. Like you can say they don't count, or the 73-9 regular season still happened. It was still super fun. So I don't think I would trade 1 for 2.
I don't know. I think I would. I think as an outside observer here, not 2016 is one of the most iconic NBA finals of all time. Of all time. That game 7 is one of the great games of all time. And when you talk about what we think about and what we remember, now this part of it is a credit to how great that team was with Kevin Durant, but nobody remembers pretty much anything about those other 2. I would make the argument that when you think about the Warriors championship run, is 2016 the first thing you think about? Not you, because you're a Warriors fan, but Damian. When you talk about those 5 years with the Warriors, the first thing that comes to your mind, I think there's arguments to be made is 2016.
Sure. Yeah. Even though they won the title the year before, you think about the 73-9 season and that iconic series against Cleveland.
I would want that wiped out. you can have the other 2.
So let's hit pause. I got to be the adult in the room. I'm pretty sure we have to go to commercial. I don't think we've taken one in like an hour. Jesse, can you confirm that we actually have to go to commercial? I don't like doing that. I don't like doing that. Let's get Kyle's going to hang around. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with Kyle Madson, James Ham, top of the 3 o'clock hour. Lots more ahead. It's D'Lo and KC, ESPN 1320. All right. I'm going to step out. You guys talk. I'll be right back.
You. Kyle, my main man.
What's up, dude?
You going to the game tomorrow?
No, I'm going Monday. I had a tea time in Sacramento tomorrow.
Really? So are you a golfer? Like you do?
No. I golf very recreationally. I have friends who are like was researching clubs on the internet the other day. I'm like, you just bought new irons, man. Like, yeah, but that's what I just like to look at the new clubs that are coming out. Like, that's nuts. Yeah. Like, I'm out on that. Like, let me know when tea time is and I'll be there to shoot my 103.
I need a set of golf clubs. I'm slipping. I think that's what I'm gonna get this spring. Is some golf clubs. I was thinking about this yesterday because we had a discussion last week about just not being interested in watching golf, and people who play golf are like, no, you guys don't understand, it's because you don't play, and golf is the hardest sport out there or whatever. And I don't think it's the hardest sport. I think it's very hard. Golf isn't harder than baseball.
I'd say it's more frustrating.
Yeah.
Because it's like, to a person, ask anybody who's golfed, and I'm with, like, baseball is impossible, but with golf, like, you could be on the range before your round and just striping every club. Like, you just feel great. And you're like, man, I'm about to go have the best round of my life. And then you get on the first tee box and you would swear you forgot how to play golf. And it was 5 minutes ago that you were hitting lasers on the range. So, like, or you'll tag a drive like 280 down the middle, and then it takes you 3 shots to get onto the green, and then you 3-putt, and after this awesome drive, you're taking a 7 on a par 4. It's just like, my God, it's hella frustrating. But I do, to that point, enjoy watching it way more now that I play a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna start playing. Maybe that might help me watch a little bit more. But my thing is always, when golf is on, there's always another sport that I'd rather watch. Like, I'd rather Saturday, Sunday, like, I'd rather watch the Giants, always, or whatever's going. Once they get into football season, obviously I'd rather watch football, whatever. But I just thought about that because golf it looks extremely difficult. I'm not diminishing how hard it is, but I was watching baseball yesterday. I was like, have these people who say golf is the hardest, have they tried to throw a baseball 90 miles per hour to pinpoint accuracy, know exactly where it's going? And then on the flip side, have you ever tried to hit 90 miles per hour and turn on it and send it to orbit? Like,
especially these pitchers today, like, just the movement and stuff they have and the way they change speeds, it's impossible. The thing I will say about golf, like, you guys were talking with Trista about 2-screen experiences. I don't have a second TV screen, but I do pull stuff up on my computer, and having, like, baseball on the TV or basketball on the TV or whatever, and then on the computer, like, having the Masters on, it's really nice because you can just kind of, like, check in every once in a while and then be like, oh, this is a big shot, and lock in. And that's just super nice to have on in the background.
Damien, when we come back, I remember what I was going to tell you 2 hours ago. I remember what it was.
You want to save that for later or here?
How much time we got? I don't know.
We're coming back now. But I didn't know if this was on.
Right. Kyle will
okay.
Too.
All right, we're coming back. Hang on.
All
right. Well, maybe not right this second. No, I got like 5, 4. Yeah. Okay. D'Lo and KC brought to you by McQueen and the Violet Fog, the smoothest gin in the world, handcrafted in Brazil. Kyle Madson, the curator of vibes over at 95.7 The Game in San Francisco, with us here in something jogged Kenny's memory.
No, so earlier we were talking about Jackie Robinson Day. Happy Jackie Robinson Day. We talked about you meeting Bill Russell and how you were just intimidated, not because he was like mean. It was just,
the aura, presence. Yeah.
Did you ever see the video of Tiger Woods going and meeting with the Stanford football team? This is from a couple of years ago. So
I don't think so.
They were playing UCF, and Stanford goes, I think they were relatively good, and UCF was really good too. So David Shaw had been telling these guys, like, man, you guys are special. People are watching you. I'm getting calls and texts every day from people all over the country. asking, how's the team looking? How's Condoleezza Rice? All these people. He's like, matter of fact, one of the people that ask me all the time, well, they want to come talk to you right now. In comes Tiger, right? And Tiger's, they're going crazy or whatever. And Tiger's talking or whatever. And in the backpack, he's like, yeah, being a champion and dedicating yourself and it's this and that. And sometimes, you reap the benefits. And he has a backpack on and he puts the backpack down, opens it. It's the green jacket, right? So he puts out the green jacket. And then he says, Coach Shaw, come over here. I want to put it on you. And Coach Shaw puts the green jacket on and he turns and looks at everybody. And then he was like, get this thing off of me. Like, I'm not supposed to be doing this. It's too heavy of a weight right now. I get it off of me. This is not me or whatever. That's what reminded me when you talked about Bill Russell, just the weight in a positive way of who he was. I remember that with David Shaw. I thought that was pretty cool to see him like, yeah, get this off of me. I'm not supposed to be wearing this. Get it off.
Yeah, that's I don't know how I haven't seen that video.
For Football tweeted it out like 2 weeks ago, I think.
Oh, okay. Oh, sure. That makes sense. We were talking golf during the commercial break, which is why you kind of walked in on that conversation there. But we welcome you all wherever you're at, whether it's Odyssey 1320 AM, Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. What's the most concerning thing for you, Kyle, about this Warriors Nuggets matchup?
That Nikola Jokic is unbelievable. Like he's just liable to have like a 30, 20, 10 game and just single-handedly win a couple.
And do it super casually.
Yeah, just at his own pace.
Yeah.
Not in a hurry. He's going to get to his spot. He can play perfect defense. It's not going to matter. Outside of that, though, it's the Warriors' health. Like, what does Steph Curry look like? What does the rotation look like with Curry back in the mix? Jordan Poole had found a little bit of a groove. Are you limiting his minutes now? Andrew Wiggins probably has to be on the floor defensively. So how do you figure that out with Steph and Clay and Poole and Wiggins and Draymond? Is that your closing lineup? Is that enough defensively with Poole and Steph on the floor together? It's just there's a lot of questions.
Is Wiggins a better defender than Draymond now?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
Draymond's more consistently.
Might have crossed the line there with that question. Sorry about that. No. I was just curious.
No, it's just that we didn't like Draymond was out for so long, and then when he came back, it was like, man, he's just not the same. Like he's just not. But then the last couple of weeks, he just he flipped a switch. You saw it in that Suns game. He just kind of toward the end was just like, okay, I'm gonna go defend the ball. Okay, the guy got rid of it. I'm gonna head down to the key now, and I'm gonna defend the rim. It was just a classic Draymond. He's everywhere all the time on defense kind of performance, and he had a couple of those down the stretch where it's like, okay, he can still do it. And when he's doing that, Andrew Wiggins is not better than he is.
The Suns game where he traveled by jumping up and down with the ball.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Holy hell, dude. Just an unbelievable play. He's like pointing at Otto Porter like, no, man, feet on the ground. What are we doing? It's not Otto Porter's fault.
That was some funny stuff. But yeah, I have seen that too from the as the season wound down, Draymond starting to, maybe he's just getting healthy. Maybe he was getting his groove back and starting to feel himself a little bit on the defensive end of the floor. What do you think? One of the things that we haven't seen from the Warriors all season is how they've had to deal with everybody being there. And what I mean by that, and this was one of the questions I had when Clay came back, is what do you do with the minutes, crunch time, with Clay, Steph, and Jordan Poole all there at once?
That's my single biggest question. Like, is that closing lineup of Steph, Poole, Clay, Wiggins, Draymond, or is it Iguodala, Draymond? Like, do they feel good enough about Iguodala offensively that he can be on the floor? How does he even look defensively at 38? I mean, he dealt with some injuries this year. Like they have some stuff to work out, and that's what, like, typically the last month of the season where it's like, okay, they're going to the playoffs. This is now about figuring out what the playoffs are going to look like. They didn't have Steph for a lot of that. So Now they have a 7-game series basically against a guy who could be the MVP of the league to figure all of that out before heading into a second round series against a team that has kind of owned them the last 2 years. It's not a perfect spot to be in, but if any team was going to do it, it would be a team that's been together for, a decade.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle, we're running a little low on time, and I know it's playoff time, but I can't let Kyle Madson get out of here without talking about this. There's no way the Niners trade Deebo. Like, Deebo's playing for the Niners next year, right?
I think so. If 25 million, if that's the actual number, they'll figure something out. My concern was that it would be like 30 or 35 or some insane number that was just like, dude, nobody's going to give that to you. But yeah, if it's 25, I think the Niners either get there or he'll negotiate down to 23 or something, and they'll find a number they like. So 25 is, to me, like 22 or 23, which is less than Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, and Tyreek Hill. And then you sprinkle a little extra on for his 8 rushing touchdowns and 400 rushing yards. That sounds about right to me.
Kenny and I were talking about this earlier in the week. This is like a 1 of 1, right? Like, there's nothing to compare this contract with Deebo, because you have guys like Christian McCaffrey or the artist formerly known as Le'Veon Bell when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You have guys coming out of the backfield to catch passes. You have guys who can run and catch. But here you got a guy who can catch and run in two very different circumstances. It could be a huge playmaker in lineup in two very different ways. And I don't know that there's a true comp in the NFL. So he's not Devontae Adams, right? He's not Tyreek Hill. He's not one of those guys, but he has his own unique attributes that it's difficult to measure. And I really do. It's a tough spot for Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, because you know how good he is. You know how valuable he is. You know you play a part in his value by the offensive scheme that you run and the way that you use him. But also you got to figure out how to negotiate through this, because, again, he's not Devontae Adams. So you can't pay him Devontae Adams money.
Yeah, and I think one of the wrinkles here is, one, he's only done it for 1 year. And he was hurt in 2020, and he had a good rookie season. But one of the wrinkles to this is, I think the Niners don't want to run him as much as they did at the end of the year.
Right.
I think, like, ideally he had 60 carries, 59 carries, I think, this year. I think that's kind of a good number, but stretching it out overall 17 games where he's getting, maybe 3 or 4 carries a game when they really need it, versus just like, oh, hey, second quarter, let's just run Deebo into the line a couple times.
Right.
I don't think that's their plan for him moving forward. And so I could see them going like, hey, you're not going to run as much, so we're not going to pay you extra for it. You had 1,400 receiving yards for 1 year. Like, we're going to pay you accordingly. But he's a good enough receiver that if they never use him as a runner again, he's still going to be valuable. Like, he's still going to be a really good player for them.
He's a playmaker.
So, yeah,
he's a playmaker. And I'll just say this, Kyle, before we get out of here. To me, you have to pay him, because all the penny pinching that you did for the last 2-3 off seasons was because you were trying to prepare for paying moving Garoppolo, drafting Trey Lance, was so you could pay Deebo and Nick Bosa. And if you're not going to pay either one, or if you're not going to pay Deebo, then what were we doing the last couple of years? Like, this is the payoff right now, so you could do this.
So I'm not certain they were set on paying Samuel. And then he goes and has the year he has. And I honestly, like, they say they plan for A, B, and C. I don't know if they were planning for 1,800 scrimmage yards and 14 touchdowns from Deebo Samuel. I just don't think I honestly think that threw a wrench into what their plan was, because I think you're right, Kenny. I think they wanted to extend him, but they were going to be like, hey, if we can extend him at 11 million over 3 years, or 11 million per over 3 years, they can do it. But now he's going to earn a lot more than that.
Value went up.
It'll be well deserved. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Kyle Madson, the curator of vibes, the host of Candlestick Chronicles, and writer over at NinersWire.com. Kyle, we appreciate you.